Hello and welcome to this rather special impromptu show that we are bringing to you from the ITC Royal Bengal. My hand is up because I am an absolute, how do I put it, greedy food lover. Deepdas Gupta maintains everything, so he's a good boy. And today, on behalf of everyone, what are we celebrating here? We are celebrating Chef Praveen Anand. We are celebrating Sarkar Ruchulu, their special Kitchen India series. And what's the connection? The connection is very simple. We are celebrating the toughest Indian cricket team in history, or that's the question we ask, and we are connecting with some of the best dishes from history because that has been resurrected by Chef Anand over years of hard work. And who were the two stars for India in the recently concluded test match? Ravichandran Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari. So Chef Anand will kindly dedicate two dishes from the royal tradition to these two gentlemen on our show today. And there's my friend who's waving at me from behind. The legend, come. The boss of the hotel, the general manager, Tejinder Singh, always very kind to me because I keep indulging myself and he always pampers me. So you are
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
no pleasure, no pleasure. Even if it's not
encyclopedia of my favorite food.
wait. Even if it's not a pleasure, he's always too polite. He's always too polite. But today we are celebrating Chef Anand. Thank you very much for hosting us again. So my question to you, Chef, you've got to be a little loud because of this. Give me a little bit of idea about Sarkar Ruchulu, the dishes, the tradition and everything else.
What we are presenting under the Kitchens of India, which is a series that we normally do to resurrect old, forgotten cuisines of India. We have brought in the food during the times of the British rule under the Madras Presidency, and this particular region, which forms about 5 districts of Andhra and about 2 districts from Orissa, form the northern Sarkars. For whatever reason, they were quite famous at that time, and I am presenting the food of those times, and basically mostly Andhra, regional food, and because of the speciality of these different kinds of chilies that come in, season to season they are different, and they change the food too because of its spiciness or tones of sourness in it. So what I am presenting basically now is basing all the seasonal foods on 2 particular chilies, the Mangalagiri and the Puttu chili. One is spicy.
So one is for Tim Payne and one is for Ricky Ponting.
I'm sure, yes.
So Tim Payne and Ricky Ponting, the 2 different varieties of chilies, one for you and one for Ricky. Love you both. Ricky, you are a legend, always will be, but please, this show is also dedicated to the 2 of you.
And also today is supposed to be is a very special day for us in the south and all over India. Shankranti for Hanuma Vihari, our hero of the last match, and also Ashwin. Pongal, happy Pongal and happy Shankranti to both of you.
And Babul, on behalf of you as a friend of yours, we are redeeming you as well. I know you have a great sense of humor. So, Amra, as Bengalis, Deep and I will redeem you also on the show today by dedicating this to Hanuma.
And for both of these players who are vegetarian and who love vegetarian food, I am presenting the Pongal specials or Shankranti specials of Chakkara Pongal and Ven Pongal, or Pongali as in Telugu for Bihari to know. And the other special vegetarian items that I am making now and I am going to present now is Aratikaya Dollu. This is raw banana crumble. Then Kalchina Vankaya Goju. These are all tongue twisters, but the food is amazing.
Okay, Preeti, this is also for you. You are the latest rage on social media, and you said you were having jeera rice and bhujji. Trust me, virtually we are sending all of this your way for sort of doing what you've done for your, not only your husband, but there with the 2 children. We know it's hard. We know it's hard, but these cuisines, I'm sure you know this language better than Deep and me, but Deep, Chef is talking for the last 2-3 minutes. I am
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
point.
salivating right now.
Now I'll get to the kitchen and send you food.
Super. And by the way, we will taste each because we are very greedy people. Today, no rules. The rule of this lunch is you can eat as much. So I will take Deep on in terms of quantity, and I can tell you I have won 10-0.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Right,
much.
thank you.
Thanks a lot. And by the way, we just shook hands and we're not wearing masks because all of us are tested. Putting that on record. So don't worry, we are all tested.
Yeah.
We have taken enough precautions. So, it is unbelievable. Isn't it?
Unbelievable. Yeah. To be very honest, I've never seen
Where
this
are
kind
you
of
guys?
spread. I haven't seen this kind of a spread, but yeah, I mean, the topic is interesting as well.
So is this the toughest Indian team in history?
Well, obviously, this is a very, very tough team. There's no two ways about it. The toughness that they've shown over 3 test matches, especially the last 2. But to say that it's the toughest Indian team ever, one of the toughest team, yes, I will not deny that. I will definitely not deny that. But my cricket knowledge, which goes back to what, 30 years now, not before that, you obviously know before that. But I'd say there have been tougher teams. I'm talking about the 70s, maybe 60s. The conditions were different. And also, while we're talking about toughness, I think one thing we have to keep in mind is the conditions as well. The conditions that this series is happening right now with all 6 months of almost 6 months of the bubble, living in the bubble and playing and all that. So toughness is not just about the sport that we see or the games that we are watching on air. Oh my God, there it comes. Oh my God.
You know why Deep is silent? Both of us know. When food like this comes, believe me, we will not eat in front of you because that will be real disrespect shown because we are eating and you are seeing us. So we will show you a little bit. We'll taste. We need to tell you because you've got to come here. You've got to come here and experience this. So that's why we'll tell you, but we will eat after our show. So we'll be a little good to you. You want to taste it?
I can smell it. Oh Lord. Oh.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I mean, listen. So from that perspective, just this is a tough goal. I mean, mentally, physically. From that perspective, you've got to keep that in mind.
So when you approach a test match, the final one,
Yeah.
you are exhausted, you are gone, you are 6 months in a bubble. How do you, this final, isn't the hardest?
The biggest challenge is the mental fatigue, isn't it? I mean, just normally when you're there away from home for what, a month and a half, almost 2 months now. Anyways, it's so tiring. Physically, yes, but mentally it's tiring, right? And then you think about the fact that all these players and all of them have been away, or except let's say Pujara and Hanuman to a certain extent. They've been away from home for the last 6 months, right? And you have someone like a Natarajan who had a baby recently, Siraj, his father passed away. You know, there are stories, right? There's so many stories out there, and think about it. It's more than physical; it's the mental fatigue that these guys have to kind of win over. Oh Lord,
Unbelievable.
no, yeah,
Unbelievable. Now, you know, the thing about the cuisine here, what are we doing?
yeah.
What is Sarkar Kuchulu? As I told you, some of the best and lost cuisines from history or dishes from history is what Chef Anand has resurrected. So it's hard work. And what the Indian team is doing in Australia is serious hard work. What Deep and I are doing is the easiest because we will gorge on the food. What Trisha is doing from the back end is hard work because we are not going to give her the food till the show ends. So she has been given this responsibility of telling us, are we audible? She's standing there, what, 1 foot, 2 feet away from the food but can't eat. So imagine what Trisha will go through. Arundhati is typing away to glory on the other side, you can see her. She can't have it. So these are, great pleasures of life.
Yeah. But,
Great pleasures.
but if I may ask you this question, Boria, because you're a student of history and cricketing history, can you think of other tours like this? Indian tours in town?
Very tough. If you think of, think of the first tour, 1932.
True.
Start with that. You haven't played Test match cricket ever, right? You've never played. So all of a sudden you go to England and you are a colony.
Yeah.
So at every sense you know that you are playing against a country that rules you.
Yeah.
So when you're stepping out, that's a different mindset. Think about the 1946 tour. England was going through one of the world's greatest crises in terms of, that there was no food.
Yeah.
So they had to appeal to people, and people sent in biscuits and tea and stuff for the players to survive. Because post the Second World War, the economy had crashed. Think of hockey. 1948 London, You're playing the final against an England team which has ruled you till the last year. Now, how significant is that game? So we have seen that. Having said that, and individual examples also. Clive Lloyd, both of us know. Malcolm Marshall, and he even told him, go get a bandage the same skin color and go back so that the opponents don't know or not always feel that you are down.
Yeah.
So there, Anil,
Yeah.
with the tape
True.
thing, you
Was
were
there?
part of the
Yeah,
team.
was there? Yeah.
So there have been instances of exemplary courage. Sachin was getting operated, and all of a sudden got in. Okay, two stories quickly. Sachin was given that when he was going through that tennis elbow, came back in Bombay against
Yes.
Australia. The doctors asked him, "How important is this tour that you're behaving like a child that you want to play?" He said, "It's more important than my own wedding." And on the final day, when he and Vives were battling, and he said, excruciating pain. So he said, tablets, he was biting the tablets. I said, why? He said, I thought if I bite the tablets rather than
That's it.
the effect will be faster. So you guys, you've saved a test match in South Africa in one of the most heroic efforts. Can you tell us, okay, this is actually a question. Saving a test match, what Vihari and Ashwin did and Pujara did, you did that in South Africa. Tell us, saving a test match, ball by ball. Give us an experience what you go through.
Well, that's very interesting because what you do is basically you can't think. I mean, when you batting the first over of the day, you can't really think about the whole day, right? So you go one over at a time, then you go to the second, then you go to the first hour, then you look forward to the first drinks break. So you break it down into smaller chunks, and then obviously with me it was Rahul there, and both of us, I don't know, we played 280, 240 balls each or something like that. And the whole discussion was enjoy batting, just bat through, just keep batting, and you can't really think. And and obviously talking about pain because before that I had kept wickets for 120 or whatever it was. But it was a different thing, and I still remember because it was Port Elizabeth, you have the band there in the stand. So was listening to music. Then Rahul and I, we were talking between overs and try and keep the importance of that moment away so that it does not create pressure on you. The idea is you don't want to think of the task in terms of the bigger picture. You just want to take one ball at a time, one over at a time. Then the idea was that the worst part was this. I still remember it was like post lunch. I think it was 90 or someone who bowled a no ball. And he bowled a couple of no balls. I was like, why? Because why do you have to bowl a no ball? Because we weren't looking to win the test match. The runs weren't important. It was the number of balls. So I was like, Jesus guys, why? And then the other important thing, which it's a personal story. So there was a speed gun right behind there. And I would play a ball, I was like, okay, 144, nice. Like, okay, good. Then next one, 148, and then 90 cranked up to 151, 154. I was like, every ball I'd play, I'd look behind where the speed gun was, and I was like, geez, I can play that because these are pre-IPL times, right? So you don't have that kind of experience behind you. But yeah, I mean, it was a great experience, obviously. I mean, batting with Rahul.
And like Deep said, one ball at a time, one dish at a time. Keeps coming. So, we are enjoying multiple aromas. What we will do is we'll get chef back to tell us what the spread is, each dish. Not those tongue twisters, simple dishes which I will understand and I can share with you on air. So we'll get Chef Anand back. But before that, a couple of questions for you. And the joy when you finish such a game.
So, joy is different. I mean, you can ask, I'm sure you will speak to Ashwin, and you've spoken to Ashwin. He's got 400s, and you ask him which innings would he rate right at the top, and chances are he'd say this one. Even though he didn't even get a half century, right? But the satisfaction that you get, it is unbelievable. People ask me, I have one test 100, but people ask me, your best knock would be that. I said, no, the best knock was that match saving knock, because the satisfaction that you get, and when you enter into that dressing room, because again, it was the same situation. I mean, chances of you saving that test match or Ashwin or Indian team saving that test match was very, very bleak, right? When you enter that dressing room and you see the faces of your teammate, I mean, it's priceless. It is absolutely priceless.
We need you back.
Yeah.
Your seat. first now, because Deep was telling us that, and there's Chef Anand back, dish after dish. Deep, one question to you before I go to Chef. What will this innings have meant to a Hanuma Vihari? For the record, he might not play against England at home.
True.
He will probably play again against England away in England in one of the toughest conditions.
Yeah.
People have gone after him. What would this have meant for a Hanuma Vihari? I questioned him for intent after the 38 balls in the first innings.
Yeah.
And you will question, by the way. You will question when he got run out, 38 balls, 4, the momentum was lost. But what would this have meant for a Hanuma Vihari? And Hanuma, we are celebrating you, buddy. So, Chef will tell us what's the special dish for you. But for what you did, this will go down in history as one of the most heroic efforts of all time.
I mean,
What
this is
would
part
you
of
say?
his legacy, obviously. This is part of his legacy. I'm sure he's got 100 as well. I'm sure he's played really good knocks because obviously he plays under tough conditions because he's an overseas batsman. So
That's
obviously,
unfair.
that's unfair. I mean, my point is this because, as you mentioned, I mean, obviously he's not available for the last Test match. He might not be there for the Test matches against England at home. So the next Test match, there'll be IPL. Chances he might not be playing IPL. So the next cricket at this level that Hanuma will play would be in June. So hopefully people will remember this because if you look at the numbers, it's like, okay, he didn't get too many runs, but the contribution we tend to forget, and especially when we're talking about 5 months from now, we have small memories, we have very short-term memories.
See, I'll give you a solution. Chef, every month will you do this for us? You
Anytime.
remember?
Anytime. And especially whenever I see him next, I'll make sure that I'll serve him some of the specials that he would love to eat.
There you go, but
Yeah,
Hanuma,
that's
you eating doesn't solve our problem. So we also need to be given the special. So we'll also remember. So Chef, you're on air. Huh? So you're telling us on air that this will happen to us again.
Anytime. Let
Good.
me know.
Okay, so I'll hold Arundhati and Chef Anand and Tejinder to this. Now please tell us, what all are we having? What's special for Hanuma and Ashwin?
Hanuma and Ashwin both are vegetarian. So let me introduce the vegetarian food first. Ashwin's the favorite, the curd rice. Okay. Then this is Hanuma Vihari will immediately connect with the names that I am going to use. This is called Wankai Bojjo. This is basically char grilled brinjals, which is mashed and tempered with chilies. Difficult to pull the names out. The other is Ava Pettina Aritekai Dollu.
If Hanuma Vihari can pronounce that, he can bat twice against Australia.
I'm sure that he would love to eat all this, and these things he will not find it over there. That is raw banana crumble, which is with little mustard and coconut paste. And then the Bendagai Majika Pulsu. This is also something which Ashwin loves. This is okra in a yogurt curry. Then we have
Delicacies.
the Miriyal Charu or pepper rasam. This is a dive for any of the Indian team. They'll love to have this one.
So now the serious question, Chef. How did you get to resurrect these dishes? I mean, where did you get them from? What was the research like? Give us a sense of the journey before, we've got 5-7 more minutes on the show. We'll celebrate and actually can't wait. I mean, you can't make us keep waiting. So,
I had been to Vizag, and it so happened that I had gone to the local market because wherever I go, whichever city I go,
one second. You know why the music started playing? That's the Australian band of supporters who tried to distract us with racist taunts. So they're trying to distract our meaning. So everything is there. This is a replica of the Sydney Cricket Ground. Deep Dasgupta can't stop laughing, but that's the truth. We suddenly had music because inebriated Australian supporters have also been imported. Yes.
and in this local market, I went to see the vegetables and the seasonal things that were available. And there was one particular shop which had about 10 to 15 varieties of red chilies of different shades and sizes. That was estimated for any chef. This is like an education because you get to learn all these things. And then I asked, like a chef would do, I said, you pack all these things. So he asked me one question. I'll never forget this. He said, why do you want to use this and for what will you use it? There I stopped to ask him better sense prepared. And when I asked him, he said, each chili is meant for separate things. And this particular chili, you have to use it for curries, this for pickles, and this if you are going to make chutneys. So that is what I wanted to bring to the table again. And so I have brought in the chilies.
This is India. What we just heard is India. Chef Anand, one of the best, learning from a seller, a vegetable seller, selling chilies, telling him this is the diversity and the culture of India that we celebrate. Okay? Every person, rich, poor, upper class, whatever, caste, creed, this is the culture of India. Not the toxic debates on television, not the racist rubbish that we see, in sporting fields, etc. Forget all of that. This is the India that we love. And this is the India that we are celebrating today on Sports Today. We are celebrating the team, we are celebrating the Sarkar Ruchulu, and we are celebrating their Kitchen in India series. That's what we love about this place. Chef, please continue.
And what you find, and season to season, the vegetables change, and so also the chilies. Now heading into the summer, you will find more spicier varieties that will come in. And also there is a time to make pickles.
You know why? Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because from Test cricket you move to IPL. That's why.
It's a brilliant connect. So this is what we will find here. Season to season, the same Sarkar Ruchulu will be a different experience.
So Hanuma Vihari, we will keep celebrating you for 6 months, and every month I will call Chef Anand and say, Chef, you promised us different experience. Give us. And trust me, Arundhati will run away from my phones. I won't give up. Now, Chef, last couple of minutes on the show. We need to taste one dish. So Deep needs to taste something, I need to taste something and say. So whichever one you want us to.
I think I would like you to first start with rasam. This is pepper and tomato paste. Tamarind extract.
Shall we?
Please. This is also an immunity booster. Please.
Arundhati, protecting party, please. What I said in Bangla was, send it every day. If this is an immunity booster, I will have it 20 times a day. It's like that. My immunity will also boost, my palate will also be, he said, but Deep, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Seriously. Yeah.
Will you please do try? There is a host of non-vegetarian food too that I'm going
So you recommend one? One non-vegetarian dish. Ashwin does not do.
This is the fish curry.
Okay.
Try this.
This is chicken.
This is chicken.
And this
And
is
that's a biryani. That is Kona Seema Andhra Kodi biryani. This is
Kona Seema Andhra Kodi biryani. Now what is this? Chicken?
this is
Mutton?
chicken.
Chicken. Oh. Job done. Deep, Chef, can we thank you?
Yes.
No, why? Because I can't wait more.
I will send the rest of the food. Try this. Try this fish curry with rice. You should start with this.
Okay. We will start and we'll have it. Trust me and come here. Come here, celebrate it. Celebrate the series. Celebrate India. While you celebrate the team there, celebrate these people, because this is what our India is all about. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Sports Today. We will get you similar experiences. As usual, you have the last word.
No, listen, my last word is have fun and happy Pongal and Makar Sankranti to everyone, and obviously we're having a happy one here.
Trisha, I know you are almost going to jump from there into the food, so end the broadcast, please, so you can actually come and join us. But before you do, Arundhati, once again, thank you for making this happen. Tejinder Singh, thank you for making this happen. ITC Royal Bengal, thank you very much for hosting us.